Hi guys, good morning and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in today's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and super awesome new episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which dropped today on Disney+. I just got done watching it. Really enjoyed it. And before I begin, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you're not up to date or caught up on Bad Batch by this episode or the previous past couple episodes, you might not want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. One of my all-time favorite characters from Clone Wars and Rebels has finally made his Bad Batch debut, and that is Captain Rex. Actually, he is my all-time favorite clone trooper of all the clone troopers, and I am so delighted that he is now been on the Bad Batch. And granted, this was, for the moment, seemed to be a one-time appearance, as we saw him both enter and leave the episode by the end of the story. It doesn't mean that he can't come back. I think he definitely will be back at some point in the future. And the fact that he is now on the radar of both the Bad Batch and vice versa, it means that we'll probably see them cross paths, hopefully more in the future. So this was a really awesome, pleasant surprise, because when we first saw this cloaked figure, I'm like, who could this be? Is this somebody looking for the Bad Batch who wants to do harm or wants to do good? And I got real excited when they did that shot where it shows Sid and the Bad Batch walking into the bar. They see the cloaked figure sitting, and as soon as we saw the armored blue plating, I was like, oh, that's gotta be Rex. Nobody else has armored blue plating on their arms like Rex does. And sure enough, it was, and I was super happy about it. And I love how this episode finally addressed, the question that was on my mind, and I'm sure was on everybody else's mind. How affected is the Bad Batch by the inhibitor chips? Because I was under the impression they wouldn't be as affected or not affected at all, since they're all considered defective rogue clones. However, that obviously wasn't the case for Crosshair, and obviously wasn't the case for Wrecker. It was a pretty intense, exciting sequence, and it was honestly a little heartbreaking to see Wrecker, I need more coffee. Wrecker turning on his fellow clones and even sweet little Omega, but thankfully they were able to stun him and put him down and get that chip out. And I believe it was implied due to a quick cut, because I think we saw a shot of Tech with a bandage on his head. All of them have now had their inhibitor chips removed. And thankfully, Rex was there to tell them from his own personal hell of an experience that you can't control it or fight against it. So it's a good thing they got it removed when they did, because it just kicked in for Wrecker at kind of a good time, but also kind of a bad time too. So, and then the other thing we learned about the inhibitor chip is that if a clone refused to follow Order 66, they were considered traitors and marked for termination as well, just like the Jedi, which explains why Wrecker, immediately saw them all as traitors, But that's all said and done. Still a very intense, great episode. Now we can move forward with clearer heads, so to speak, now that the entire Bad Batch have all had their inhibitor chips removed. What I'm really hoping for, now that Rex has been introduced, is maybe we'll get a little side adventure or spin-off episode focusing on Rex, showing us how he ends up with Gregor and Wolf, because when we first meet them again years after Clone Wars and in the beginning years of Rebels, they're all old men living on some desolate planet together, forgotten by everyone until the Rebels come looking for them thanks to Ahsoka. So it's possible Rex was speaking to Ahsoka when he was talking to somebody on his wrist communicator, talking about a rendezvous. It's possible it could have been Ahsoka and they're still together in the early days of the fall of the Republic. Or maybe he was already talking to Gregor and Wolf somehow. Maybe they're already together. So maybe this show will fill in the gaps for us with 1 or 2 episodes explaining and showing how Rex ends up with Wolf and Gregor and how those two get their chips out as well. Does Rex tell them, or are they already aware of it? So that's what I'd be curious to see, if we ever get anything like that. And even if we don't get anything like that, it's all right, because it was still an absolute treat to see Rex finally appear on this show, as I was kind of hoping he would, because it would make sense considering how it's still fairly early in the rise of the Empire and the end of the Old Republic, and Rex would still be the same age and be wearing the same uniform as he was when he and Ahsoka survived Order 66. So that was great. Really looking forward to the next episode. And I just hope they keep on surprising us with more character appearances like Fennec Shand, the twin sisters, Rex, and hopefully more surprises are in store. So, what did you guys think of this episode? Any thoughts or theories as to how they're going to get the microchip out of Crosshair's head? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your weekend if I don't see you. The Bad Batch drops new episodes every Friday on Disney+. Have a good one, everybody. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.